Hi, I'm Jeff Brim from NXT5 Advisors, and this is part of my interview series on innovation. Today, I have Pierre de Lespinios from Motiontopia, and Pierre and I have worked together many times over the past few years. And so, Pierre, 360 video.
Yes.
All right. What's your idea? What's your thoughts about that?
Well, we played a lot with that, and it's very interesting that the human, everything that you do, drive a car, ride a plane, watch television, walk, you pretty much, and if you think about this, your brain is floating in fluid, right? When we started doing 360 films, people would, turn around like this real quick, but within a minute, they would stop. So we found the best way to handle 360 is not have you physically move, and it doesn't matter which one you move. Either I move or the image moves around me. It's because we're conditioned, we have a 180-degree peripheral, we have a brain that's floating in fluid, and we shake it back and forth a lot. We're not good for that. Almost every animal on this planet is not good at that. Every animal, if you ever pick up a cat or you try to move his body, a chicken, a dog, running, watch a human run, a giant animal run, your whole body moves around keeping your head solid. So your head is not made for that kind of jostle. So we found that it's better to create the image that you can control and manipulate around you versus you manipulating into that. There are exceptions, and I think as we get more into the virtual worlds, that you'll walk around in an environment. And VR was supposed to kind of let you, with the gyros, move around the environment. We're starting to see there's some places here in LA now that you can see that, experience virtual reality. You tend to want to hang on, but they're getting that better to match to the environment. So I think you'll start seeing that kind of make an effect on enterprise and on commercial type of entertainment, which we're starting to see here in Los Angeles. If you go over to the Century Mall, there's 4 or 5 experiences you can get into and virtual. But I think the long haul is augmented, enhanced reality, light-filled reality. I wouldn't call it a true hologram, but it's pretty close to what we would think of a projection technology. So I think 360 certainly has its case, and I know in filmmaking, if you look at Spider-Man and a couple of movies, Shot Over made a camera gyro-stabilized rig that had 6 cameras on it, and it would fly down the center of a street. And the reason why, in order to get all the angles of that street, you'd have to do several passes or for shot. But if you include the whole thing, now you can, and you have 6 cameras, now you can have Spider-Man swing from one side of the building all across the street to up the other side. And before, that would have to either be a pan or tilt. So now you can fly one time down a street and capture 180-degree movement at very high resolution, 8K times 6. And then you pull that together. So we're starting to see that kind of thing become effective to do shots that would be hard to do with just one camera. So it's very interesting. Lenses are still the same. We're up to 8K now, and people would say, well, why do we need HD? You really can't see a difference. Well, yeah, you could. When people started seeing real HD, and you have to remember, the industry was reluctant to do it. They were forced by the FCC. And the FCC made a mistake. They, instead of saying you have to go to this format, HD, 1080p, whatever, they said, well, here's 14 different formats you could choose. And of course, networks were trying to be sneaky. ABC, Fox said, hey, I'm going to take a 1080 and split it in 2 and get 2 channels out of it. And once the FCC realized that, said no. And then basically, FCC said, well, if you don't want to adapt, give us back your license. And so everybody adapted. It was not like they were wanting to do it. But now that people have seen that, so people would say, well, can you see the difference between 2K and 4K? And the answer is yes, you really can. And will you be able to see the difference between 4K and 8K? And the answer is yes. So higher quality, the human brain and the eyes can see the difference in 1/2000th of an inch. If you look at a board, you can see 1/2000th of an inch difference in height in that. That's because of our stereoscopic capability. And I think that kind of capability we'll start seeing that into industries, where robots will be able to have stereoscopic advantages and people can do things safer from afar using robots. So we're seeing a lot of this, things that we do in the film industry. I mean, we were probably the biggest, investors in 3D stereoscopic work. It's going to filter down into real-time industries that are safer for humans. And certainly we've already been talking to the coal mining people who want to get people out of the coal mine totally. But you can't do that until you give them that stereoscopic ability and the remote control. And we're close to that. So, yeah, I think things are going to change. And you and I are sitting here 5 years, 10 years, there'll be things coming out that we don't even imagine. And that's just the way how life goes. It's those pivotal moments. And I can feel of what's going on in our industry and how many people are concentrating on this, that there is something that's going to shift it. And you're having big companies like Apple. I mean, we know Apple's working on augmented reality glasses. There are a lot of companies in China now that are doing augmented. Everyone's just trying to figure it out. Light field, because it gives us a solid object, not a ghost-like object, but I think is the one that's going to stick.
Okay. Well, thanks, Pierre.
You're welcome.
Have a great.
All right.